This is a 7 News special report.
Good morning. We're
Please
interrupting
seated,
programming to bring you the verdict in the Nick Hillary murder trial. Let's listen in now in Canton.
This is a continuation of the people of the state of New York against Oral Nicholas Hillary, indictment number 2015-015. The matter was scheduled this morning for the court to deliver its verdict. The court will note the appearance of district attorneys William Fitzpatrick and Mary Rain. Defendant appears with his defense attorneys Earl Ward, Norman Siegel, Peter Dumas, and Kate Fletcher. Mr. Hillary, if you'll please rise. Defendant was indicted on January 19, 2015 for the October 24, 2011 murder of Garrett Phillips. A trial was had before this court, sitting without a jury over the course of 3 weeks. The people called 22 witnesses to testify and introduced over 100 exhibits. The defendant called 8 witnesses to testify and introduced 7 exhibits. Each side provided their summations to the court on September 22, 2016. The case against the defendant is entirely based upon circumstantial evidence. Because of this, the court must review the evidence in this case under a rigorous standard. That is, while a person's guilt of a charged crime may be proven by circumstantial evidence, if that evidence, while not directly establishing guilt, gives rise to an inference of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, it must appear that the inference of guilt is the only one that can fairly and reasonably be drawn from the facts, and that the evidence excludes beyond a reasonable doubt every reasonable hypothesis of innocence. This court has fully and fairly considered the evidence in this case pursuant to that standard, along with the other applicable and stipulated to criminal instructions. Accordingly, it is the judgment of this court that as to the charge of murder in the second degree as charged in the indictment, the defendant, Oral Nicholas Hillary, is found not guilty. There having been an acquittal, the court shall enter an order pursuant to Section 16050 of the Criminal Procedure Law. Bail is exonerated and the defendant is released. Ladies and gentlemen, this court is adjourned. Thank you.
All right, you heard from Judge Felix Katina just about a minute ago. Nick Hillary found not guilty of the charge of murder in the second degree. There's Earl Ward, one of his defense attorneys, shaking someone's hand, and you can see Nick Hillary there relieved, hugging his defense team right now. And just a moment ago, we saw pictures of the victim's mother, Tandy Collins, visibly upset with that verdict of not guilty. She was crying, and certainly a packed house in the Canton courthouse. Nick Hillary, of course, very emotional right now. This has been a very long road for him. This murder happened almost 5 years ago, and just within the day of the murder of Garrett Phillips happening, media outlets were told about a person of interest, and we later learned that person was Nick Hillary. So this has been a 5-year ordeal for him. You can see he is very emotional. Again, what you have just heard from Judge Felix Katina, a not guilty verdict. And Judge Felix Katina explained that this entire case was built upon circumstantial evidence that the prosecution had. Here is what the prosecution did not have in this particular case. They did not have any witness to the murder of young Garrett Phillips. They had no admission of guilt or confession, and they had no physical evidence that linked Nick Hillary to the murder of Garrett Phillips. Once again, you're looking at live pictures. The breaking news this morning that Judge Felix Katina has ruled that Nick Hillary is not guilty of murder in the second degree. We have a replay. We want to show you what just happened moments ago in court. We're going to replay that now for you.
Murder in the second degree, as charged in the indictment, the defendant, Oral Nicholas Hillary, is found not guilty. There having been an acquittal, the court shall enter an order pursuant to Section 160-50 of the Criminal Procedure Law. Bail is exonerated and the defendant is released. Ladies and gentlemen, this court is adjourned. Thank you.
What you just saw was moments ago, Judge Felix Katina issuing his verdict. Nick Hillary, these are the live pictures you're seeing right now. Just very emotional. In a case like this, certainly there's plenty of emotion. That's pretty obvious. Nick Hillary feeling relief. But of course, there is a victim's family, Garrett Phillips' family, who can certainly not be happy with this. I mean, this is a family who has waited for years to see if anyone would be held accountable for the murder of a 12-year-old boy, and that's not happening today. And the question will become, will there ever be, as they say in Potsdam and in St. Lawrence County, will there ever be justice for Garrett? And you're seeing right there Garrett's mother, Tandy Collins, who is, well, she looks shocked. And that is District Attorney Mary Rain, who brought the charges, the indictment against Nick Hillary. When Nick Hillary was first looked at in this murder case, Mary Rain was not in office. It was a previous District Attorney, Nicole Duvet. She did not bring charges against Nick Hillary. Perhaps that was for lack of evidence or the thought that there was no case, but when Mary Rain was elected into office, she brought the indictment. The first one was thrown out, the second one stuck. And she enlisted the help of Onondaga County District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick, a well-known prosecutor, to help in this case. But in the end, it seems as though the evidence was not there. The courtroom is now emptying out. Here's what we expect will happen. We think that there's going to be a press conference very soon with the defense lawyers just outside the courthouse. We're going to try to bring you that press conference in just a few minutes. We'll also be efforting to talk to the prosecution and anyone else linked to this trial right now. Again, this morning, Judge Felix Katina rules that Nick Hillary is not guilty of murder. We'll be back in a few moments with more.